I just had to try this Pokemon out, also in the Master League Premier Cup. Today we're gonna take a look here at Rillaboom for the Master League Pokemon that you would mostly never really see here. But to be fair, the CP of this Pokemon is not that bad, and I feel like there is some potential for it. You see on the right side, the moveset is an idea. Again, I'm not really, drowning in charge TMs currently, quite the opposite, but I tried my best to still get Earth Power on this Pokemon. It just didn't work out, and I didn't want to use an Elite TM in order to get a normal move. So sorry for that. Still, there's only going to be 1 or 2 times where it maybe comes in clutch generally, because we have Razor Leaf anyway as a fast move that doesn't generate that much energy. But let's take a look at the team. Let's take a look at what we are doing here today. Of course, yesterday we had the Grookey Community Day, and today this is the only time I can really showcase Rillaboom for the Master League Premier Cup, because the Master League Premier Cup is only available every like 2 seasons on average, I feel like. And yeah, I kind of want to give this Pokemon at least a try, because I feel like it actually has some potential. With Earth Power, it would even have more potential, because you would be able to hit Pokemon like this one here, the Metagross, for super effective damage. But even without, you're going to have quite a few ground-type Pokemon currently in this meta, which you're going to be able to counter. Now, we see here already the Excadrill against us, so the Rock Slide is coming through, and we can still go for the Drum Beating and give them a beating and knock out. The Excadrill here clearing the way for the Magnezone, but this does not mean that this game is over, because we still have to get more damage onto them, and they're still going to have a lot of energy here, so like I'm not too sure if we're actually going to be able to win this. So we use a shield here immediately to shield the Earthquake, and this is actually kind of great that it's the Earthquake and not the Meteor Mesh, because now I know that I'm still going to get another fast move in before they get to anything else, and we can move on to the next opponent. Where we face off against King Gambit. Honestly, a very solid lead for myself. I can let the first move go, and I can just generate energy extra afterwards, trying to just go for the Wild Charge spam. The only thing where this is kind of getting scary is if they have a Mud Slapper in the back, because then they would be able to just stop out and knock out our Magnezone immediately, so you have to be always a little bit cautious there. But we're gonna end up here with another move stored basically on the Magnezone, and we can stop out here against the opponent, as we're gonna get out the opponent's Dragonite, which is honestly great, because Dragonite is one of those Pokemon that you have a 0 play with your Rillaboom. But trust me, there are actually quite a few Pokemon where you have a lot of play with a Rillaboom. They have a lot of Rhyperior currently in the meta. You have a lot of ground types generally in the meta. You have some water types in the meta even. Even like something like a Gyarados is quite alright for you. So like I did feel like there was some potential for this Pokemon here for today. So I didn't really just play it just for, let's have some fun with the Pokemon that nobody else is using. But here, for example, if I had Earth Power, maybe I had a chance, because what I would have been able to do is I would have been able to maybe put them then into range for a Wild Charge afterwards. Or like if I just hit the Earth Power here straight away, I would be able to just knock them out maybe, but I don't know. At the end of the day, this would be one of those scenarios when Earth Power would have been kind of cool. I don't even know if I would have, I don't think I would have been able to get to an Earth Power actually, because Earth Power is, I think, the same energy as whatever other move I have here as well. So like it doesn't really matter. We're gonna be able to knock out the opponent's Magnezone here though, the opponent's Metagross over the Magnezone, I think. Yep. And in comes the King Gambit. We still win. Doesn't matter. We won. Anyway. Alright. Good lead. Salamence mainly is going to do some damage with Brutal Swing. As long as I don't go first, I'm kind of alright here. This is a bit of a mistake. I should have not went straight for the charge move there. Like I went to overfarm by quite a bit. But honestly, I haven't played against a Salamence really nearly ever. So I just kind of forgot about the Brutal Swing on this Pokemon, which is only scary if you're debuffed, otherwise it doesn't really do that much. And as you see as well, they can still go for another move. I can just let the move go. I don't really need to shield this up here. It's going to be the Fly. And in comes, the opponent's Metagross. I can go for the Awkward here. That's kind of fine. I maybe would have been able to go for the Crunch, but I didn't want to risk it. I definitely would have been able to get to the Crunch. But now we kind of put them nearly into range where one Wild Charge should be nearly enough to knock them out. And so let's see on how this is going to go. We're going to let this move... Now, okay, I'm not going to let this move go, because you kind of don't want to risk it to put everything just onto the one Pokemon here. But they go into the Rhyperior, which now gives me the opportunity to swap out into my Rillaboom and look at the fast move pressure that we have here. The attack is debuffed, so we should definitely survive even the Rock Wrecker here. And in the back, there's only going to be the Salamence, but I'm in a position now where it looks a little bit dicey for us, as the Drum Beating comes in. And they would need to overfarm up to 2 charge moves, and they might have 2 moves now. They have 1 HP, which is super unfortunate. If they have 2 Brutal Swings, I'm going to lose. But they actually go for a fast move, and I'm still going to lose. I should have won this battle. The fast move damage of mine should have come through before the opponent goes for their charge move. This is an inconsistency in the game currently. This should have been a win if everything would have went normal. So far, actually, so good with this team. Like, this team is not that bad. Like, this team actually worked out really well. And to be fair, it's getting carried by Magnezone plus the Gyarados core here. Like, that's just one of the best cores that you can run in the current meta. It kind of covers up each other's weaknesses basically perfectly. Like, you have the Electric weakness on the Gyarados mainly. That's the main weakness you have, as well as, of course, the Rock weakness. I think that's basically it. And you can, of course, resist everything with your lead. And then you have the main weakness of ground and fighting, which you're going to be able to resist on fire, and which you're all going to be able to resist on your Gyarados. So, like, it's kind of a perfect core. And now we have just a Rillaboom in the back, which is not going to cover up the weakness to fire, but it's going to be able to cover the weakness of ground, which is quite important here as well. Anyway, the opponents here now, the Togekiss aligned. That's not ideal for us. They're going to be able to go for the full perfect farmland there as well. They are not charged before, which is very smart. And they're going to knock us out here. And at this point, I feel like this game is over. I have no real chance of winning this battle. The one thing that kind of could save me here is that the Golisopod is not doing any damage, and I could utilize this Pokemon in order to farm up energy for myself, which then could help me out late game against the opponent's Togekiss. But now it really depends on what the opponent is going to do here, because I feel like we're nearly in Peck plus Aura Sphere range. But I'm not sure what the opponent's going to try to do. I can go for another Awkward Tail here. This is going to be able to get some damage in against them. And I just have to reach another one. I'm using a shield immediately as they go for the Dazzling Gleam. That's quite a lot of energy going down the drain. And they're going to go for another charge move here. Is this going to be another Dazzling Gleam? It is not. It's the Aura Sphere. We still survive and we can still go for the Awkward Tail, winning us this battle somehow, which I don't know how. But again, this team kind of works. Okay, we have a fantastic lead here. And I know that kind of made a silly play here, I think, a little bit later, but let's take a look here. We're gonna go for the Mirror Shot spam. That's just the safest play. Mirror Shot has the opportunity to debuff the attack, which you get here immediately, which just helps us out for later on. But they teleported to the Torterra. And never mind, this is actually a battle where I have now full control, because let's take a look at what Rillaboom can do. Rillaboom can go for the full farmland against the opponent, as we have fast move pressure that's neutral, and we resist the fast move from the opponent. They go for the Sand Tomb to drop our defense, but they could have Stone Edge as a coverage move on their Torterra, but that is not going to be something that is going to even knock us out here. They have the Stone Edge, so that's fine. I would have 2 drum beatings, and so I'm gonna try to use a shield here and keep my drum beating either for the floor just now. Okay, I keep it for later on because I can catch the move here from the floor. Just my entire team is actually quite alright now against this Pokemon as well. And they reveal that they have the Excadrill on the back. And now I have the opportunity to utilize my energy that I just gained onto this specific matchup, because they have super effective coverage with Rock Slide against our Gyarados, so we kind of have to weaken them up a little bit earlier, while Gyarados is going to do some super effective damage against them as well. We are now kind of in a position where they're forced to still go for a move here against our Rillaboom, and they're kind of in an awkward position where I can even get a bit of an energy advantage here. I know that the Rock Slide is not going to be able to knock me out, that's why I can let the first move go, especially here, because they very likely could stop out soon-ish as well and try to clear the debuff. But I can go for the Awkward Tail now, which is going to do enough to knock out the Excadrill guaranteed. It's a stab move that is doing super effective damage. In comes the Florges, and yet again, we are coming up here as a victory with a victory here, which is going to be amazing. Again, Gyarados actually kind of carries a lot of the time as a team as we face a Gyarados against us. Metagross is coming in here. It's actually very solid for me, like this specific matchup, as I could stop out into my own Gyarados very soon as well, but I decided to stay in for a little bit and try to catch the move, which didn't work out, but it's okay, because at this point I should be able to put them into crunch range, which is perfect, as well as I keep my lead still for the Gyarados for later on, and I can take 2 hits from the opponent. I'm just a tiny bit worried that they might be able to align themselves now. That would have been a bit bad, but they're actually gonna be able to catch the move onto the Gyarados, which is quite a bit worse even, because now I don't get the damage in, the super effective damage against the Metagross, and they can actually take the hits here, give us less farm with our Magnezone. I'm forced to use a shield here because we're squishy, because we're Shadow, but we're at least going to end up here with a bit more than a Wild Charge stored, which can help us out against the opponent's final Pokemon, which in this case is going to be the King Gambit. But I could have played so much better. I should have just went straight for the crunch. I should have not just risked the opponent stopping out and tried to play it for perfect energy management. There was a bit of a mistake here, I admit to that. But now we have to kind of see if we're going to be able to win this still. I should have very likely just let the move go and then try to win with my Rillaboom, but is what is. They're going to have the Meteor Mesh here. I need to try to catch the move, but I didn't really want to risk it here after 5, and they go straight after 5. That's kind of unfortunate, because now they're going to do a ton of damage. Like, we're going to still survive it. By the way, the Rillaboom IVs, why they are so bad, I didn't really say that, is because it's a Gigantamax Rillaboom that I want to use anyway for Gigantamixing and like those Dynamax rates. But as you see here, we're barely gonna lose. This was a winnable battle. I could have played it a tiny bit better and I would have won this battle. If I just went for the crunch a bit earlier, I would have won this, but that's always where I kind of get a little bit afterwards. So I'm like, okay, I could have done this play a little bit better than I did it throughout the battles. Anyway, we got to face off against the Dragonite, and actually here they made a big mistake. They gave me a bit of extra energy. They kind of went for their first charge move just in the beginning of my own fast move there, which gave me like around 3 free turns. That doesn't seem huge, but it's actually quite huge because we don't have the best answer to Dragonite. Like, we have no answer really directly to Dragonite at all, because our lead as well as our save stop get one-shot by the charge moves. Here I gave the opponent a little bit extra farm because I don't want to give the Dragonite extra farm, so I gave the Golden Goal a little bit more opportunity to go for some fast moves. But I kind of have to be very careful in this scenario. I need to kind of get rid of the Dragonite as soon as possible. And they go into the Metagross. They catch the move here, and that is unfortunate because they caught now the Mirror Shot, which I don't want them to catch at all. And I'm going to keep my energy for later on, but this is going to be a tough matchup to win. That's going to be a very tough matchup to win because they have, of course, the option to go for Thunder Punch on the Dragonite. They have the option to go for the Superpower on the Dragonite. And that is just going to destroy us. And so for me, the only real option is to go ahead and keep my shield for the Dragonite, because Dragonite is the one Pokemon that can knock out everything basically here. And they actually do something weird here. They swap out into the Dragonite onto the Crunch. They shield this move up though, which is really weird. Doesn't really make too much sense. And I'm just gonna go for the Wild Charge, but I feel like at this point my Pokemon are just getting too low. My Pokemon are just getting too low because now, even if they let the move go, I'm gonna be double debuffed. And they shield this move up. I can go for another Wild Shot here. I'm now at -4 defense. And so I'm going to barely lose this battle here again. And I feel like, again, there was potential of winning this one if I played it a bit better. But it's very, very close. Like, at the end of the day, we're playing currently one of the most off-meta Pokemon possible. We are not running any of the real top meta Pokemon. Like, Gyarados is the top meta Pokemon. I wouldn't say that. But Magnezone, especially Shadow, isn't really common. Like, you haven't seen a single one against us. And then, of course, Rillaboom, nobody runs this Pokemon. So I'm actually really happy on how this team plays. Like, I think this team actually works out really well so far. And you see me here actually swapping out into my Gyarados because I got them already kind of low. They would even be in range for Razor Leaf plus Drum Beating at this point. I'm kind of happy to swap out of here. And they reveal their their second Pokemon as well, which is going to be the Shadow Gyarados on their side. I could, by the way, run my Shadow Gyarados for this team as well, but I kind of wanted to have a little bit more bulk so I can utilize the shields from my lead mainly. But the Crunch is coming through. It's going to knock us low, not out. And we can go for the Awkward Tail, which is going to get them low enough that he hopefully can go for the Volt Switch down here, which we can. That's actually quite nice because I didn't get the move through. They go into the Metagross again. They're going to get a charge move off now. But I feel like we have a good chance here of winning this battle. And again, this team actually worked out really well for me. I can go for the... Maybe I could have actually went for the Mirror Shot here. I think the Mirror Shot would have done enough damage to knock them out at this point. And then I had a charge move here for the last Pokemon, which is going to be the Golisopod. So, like, that is going to be a bit of an awkward thing. Also, if I had maybe... Okay, now I have to go for the Drum Beating here to have any chance of winning this battle. I would have never been able to go for a Frenzy Plant either, so Drum Beating is coming through. We're going to get the attack drop onto them. They're going to knock us out here, but we have to hope that we can still get somehow a fast move through against them. Or Mirror Shot is enough. Let's see, is Mirror Shot enough to knock them out? It's going to be very close. It is not, and we still win. Okay, final battle for today. Florges in the lead. This is kind of where I mess up a tiny bit, like it's nothing crazy. Here you just again want to just go kind of straight for your Mirror Shot. They're gonna go straight for their Chilling Water. That's the ideal play for them as well. That makes the most amount of sense for them. And we're gonna try our best here to go for the Mirror Shot spam. This is perfectly fine. Mirror Shot is gonna get the shield. We can go for another Mirror Shot here as well. And this is going to be alright. We're gonna get a bit of damage in. But where I make a bit of a mistake here is I let the move go, which is fine as well, because I'm not really too worried about this. I want to go for the Wild Shot, I just didn't know that I needed one more fast move. I could run for the Mirror Shot again. I just wasn't too sure if Mirror Shot does enough. Wild Shot does more damage than Mirror Shot, even though like it's just neutral and not super effective. But Mirror Shot is just such a bait move. It's bad to go for a Wild Charge if you just want to have raw damage. So like that was a bit of a mistake that actually kind of is punishing me here a bit as well, because I still get another move and I don't have the perfect alignment. They go into their Primarina, which tells me they have another weak Pokemon against me in the back. And it's going to be Rhyperior, which is fine off of my Gyarados, don't get me wrong, but Primarina is still existing and Primarina resists every single hit that I have on my Gyarados. So how are we coming back from that one? I am not too sure. I am honestly not too sure. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here right now, because like I need to knock them out before they get to another move, which I can do now. But I have a shield left. But I have the awkward tail, and that's the only thing I can do. Maybe I have to try to catch a move here on my Rillaboom. Rillaboom still exists with 1 HP. They go for the charge move now, but they kind of waited for a little bit, which is kind of nice. And they reveal that they just go for the Hydro Cannon. Like, do they run Moonblast, and it's gonna take ages for them to get to that? Like, usually people are running Disarming Voice here, but I try to catch this move, it doesn't work out. I have to try to... I am gonna go down here. So yeah, sadly we're gonna lose the final battle of this video, but this team actually worked out really... Wait. We're actually gonna win the final battle of this video, and this team actually worked out really well. Somehow I went positive with this team, and I will, yeah, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.